So we're having a bit of an early walk. I was going to do a couple of lives this morning, but it's not straightforward. Obviously the kids are off school, so it's impossible to get a quiet time. I was going to do Andrew Morenin's breakdown of brilliant questions concerning Priscilla, but I need silence for that. I can't do them when the kids are watching children's programs. And my wife's obviously busy doing what she's doing. So in the end, I thought, let's just have a walk, just have a chat on defending Elvis Presley. There's a chance we're going out today for 3 or 4 hours because it's sunny today. It is a bit cold, but it is very sunny as well. I think tomorrow the weather's changing. It's not going to be as nice. I'm not properly awake yet. I'm a bit like, wake up, Louis. But the day is beautiful. We give thanks for the day. We give gratitude. Absolutely beautiful. So there's a couple of bits I was hoping to do today as well. Obviously the Priscilla questions from Andrew Morenin. There was other things as well. I was going to do the Vernon Presley's birthday video, which was yesterday. Now the Vernon topic can be a little bit touchy actually. Vernon Presley, the Elvis fans have very strong views about Vernon. Let's go the more sunny route, shall we? There's strong views about Vernon, and I see Elvis fans arguing about Vernon. Some people really have got it in for him, like really got it in for him. Say some pretty nasty things about Vernon. Even Elvis fans. Some people massively disagree and fully support Vernon. You even get extreme views. Hi Lorna, how are we going? Whoa, let's cross over. Woo! So we're just having a chat on defending Elvis because it's the only half an hour bit of quiet I get at the moment because the kids are off school. Now, I'm interested to know what your views are. Hi Angie. I'm interested to know what your views are on Vernon. Now, obviously, to me, it's a no-brainer because it's Elvis's dad. Yeah? And I've read loads of different things all about Elvis and Vernon, their friendship, their relationship, their father-son relationship, different things that have went on over the decades. Obviously, their upbringing in Mississippi, Tupelo, all the different stuff that went on. Yeah, we need a cup of tea, don't we? All the different stuff that went on in Tupelo with Gladys, in the shotgun house, and how Elvis was born and raised, and the different places that they moved to. They moved to a few different houses, didn't they? They even once went, I read, I don't know if it's 100% correct, they even once, when Elvis before 13 years old, even briefly moved to Memphis. Well, this is just what I read, yeah? Don't know if it's true, guys, you tell me. But they missed Tupelo, so moved back to Tupelo. Hi, Karen. We're just having a chat because it's the only peace I can get away from the kids at the moment. We are hopefully going out today. It's very nice today. So, there's very, very mixed views about Vernon. I'll be honest with you, when I read the different arguments, discussions, we've had a few on our chat as well, on our Defending Elvis Presley 24-hour chat. Don't forget, we are defending Elvis Presley and the bloodline. Vernon is part of the bloodline. I'm trying to read your comments. I don't understand why people have a problem with him. Yeah. I mean, of course, we're defending Elvis Presley, so I also defend Vernon. It's Elvis's father. Now, people bring up the different arguments that happened. People can say some pretty nasty stuff about Vernon. I won't go into all the different things I've read, but it's quite a few things. And you even get people, it can get to a very extreme, yeah? You even get people that blame Vernon for poor Elvis's death. They come up with different reasons. Just things like, Vernon should have seen how unwell he was. Vernon should have got him to a hospital. We know that they would have their rows and stand their ground. But I still think, no matter what people say and think, I still think that there was a real deep love between Elvis and his father. A real deep love. And that when it really came down to it, it all started off with just the three of them. Gladys, Vernon, Elvis. When they struggled, yeah, Karen, Elvis looked after Vernon, but when they were struggling in Mississippi, Tupelo, it was just the three of them, wasn't it? Obviously, they had family members, of course they did, but I always see them as a trio. That's how I've always felt that way about them three. Even when they moved to Memphis, and they eventually got Gracelands, I still see them as a trio. I know that Elvis moved in family members, helped family members, but I still see them as a trio. So I'm always disappointed when I see people slating Vernon. Come on, father and son. Hi, Mystic. We're talking about Vernon and his relationship with his son Elvis. Come on, any son knows. Like even me, obviously me, I had a complex friendship with my father. Relationship, father and son. Ultimately, no matter what happens, you love your father, don't you? Even if you argue, even if you disagree, even if you have different views, don't forget they're from different generations. Let's just get over it. Now, sorry I missed that comment. Sorry guys, the sun's in my eyes a bit, so I'm struggling to see your comments. I think, obviously we know about Vernon going to prison, the check fraud. Could you imagine what that was like for a very poor, humble Gladys and Elvis? Suddenly Dad wasn't home. Dad was in prison. And I think a lot went on. Once Vernon went to prison, a lot happened trying to get Vernon out of prison. I read something that the guy who got Vernon put into prison also helped get him out of prison. I've heard the story about some piglets were sold. Vernon and his friend felt like they were unfairly paid. Is this true, guys? You tell me. And this is why the check was altered. That got them both put in prison. I think he was given 3 years, but ended up serving 18 months. Again, guys, if I'm getting my facts wrong, tell me. So could you imagine Elvis and Gladys? I think they were, because of Vernon going to prison, they were forced to move out of the shotgun house on Satilla Road where Elvis was born, into their in-laws' house. And I read that Gladys didn't get on with her in-laws. So they moved again. This is just bits and bobs that I've read. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. So then obviously they're in a very low income family. So they had to make ends meet, and Elvis helped. I even read that Elvis even helped pick cotton for cash. Is that true, guys? Is it true? You tell me. Now my point is, eventually obviously Vernon comes out of prison. Now, just that alone, surely, because they were desperate, weren't they? Just that alone, that what they went through in Tupelo. Served 8 months, right? It was 8 months. Don't know why I thought it was 18. Okay, 8 months, thank you. I'm learning, guys, please let me know. But my point is, just the hell that they went through when Vernon went to prison, just that alone, I think would have made the bond even stronger. Of course, it made the bond between Elvis and Gladys, his mum, even stronger, even closer. Is that Melissa? Melissa, are you watching us? Hi, Melissa, if you are. So my point, what I'm trying to say is that when people doubt the friendship, the father-son relationship between Elvis and Vernon, I always think, but look at what they went through as a family, and that says it all. I really think that. When you go through very, very tough times, you stand together, you unite, you fully support each other. So in my mind, there was a very, very deep love from Vernon to Elvis, even if they argued. And this is just my opinion. In my mind, even if Vernon made mistakes, he loved his son deeply. Even if Elvis would get angry with his father, he loved his father deeply. The first thing Elvis did was look after his parents. That's one of the things that stood out about Elvis, is that as soon as he got fame and fortune, the first thing on his mind was to help his parents. Yeah, and his family members. So when I see these comments slating Vernon, accusing Vernon of quite nasty things, I'm actually quite disappointed. I think it's a bit cruel. Even if there was mistakes made, I just don't agree. This is just, when I do this, I always lose subscribers, yeah? This is the same as what we were discussing yesterday. We're discussing topics that people are very passionate about, people have very strong views about. I always say, look, I know I'm going to lose subscribers when I mention certain topics, because people are so passionate and strong-minded, they get really upset and they go, oh, that's it, I'm going to unsubscribe. Like the topic yesterday was discussing Priscilla and if she had anything to do with the death of Lisa. I knew I was going to lose a couple of subscribers because of that topic. Because as strong as our views are, sorry, I'm trying to read your comments. As strong as our views are, the way I've chosen to defend here with Team Elvis is to try and be truthful. So with the topic of Lisa, with the topic of Lisa Marie, how she passed, the circumstances leading up to her passing, I will never accept, ever, and I'll lose another subscriber now for saying it, I will never accept that Priscilla is the reason Lisa died. I would never accept that. Never, 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 ever. This is her daughter. Come on, no matter what we say about Priscilla. Yeah, she was a terrible mother. We all agree on that, don't we? We all agree that Priscilla was a terrible mother. But to say that she was the reason she died is just crazy. Crazy. And I'll lose a subscriber then and there. It's when I woke up this morning, because we did some quite heated live streams yesterday about this situation with Priscilla and the DNR and turning off the machine, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Karen just said it there. You can't get hate get in the way of truth. Karen calls it judgment. I call it truth. You're never going to get to truth if you have to go through hate. That's my opinion. Now, as I keep saying, I'll say it 20 times. I'm the first one to expose Priscilla's wrongdoing, yeah? And I'll do it all day long. I'll give you endless reasons to be upset with Priscilla, with the way she treated Lisa and Elvis, and Riley, and Finley and Harper. But I won't say that she's the reason Lisa died, because that is just crazy. So when I woke up this morning, I was thinking, I wonder how many subscribers I've lost, because there's people out there that want me to call her a murderer. And it was only 2. We lost 2 subscribers because of that very, very difficult live streams that we did. I think we did 3 or 4. Because come on, even the most extreme people that are very, very upset with Priscilla, because I'm upset with Priscilla, yeah? Come on, do they really believe that she would help end the life of her daughter Lisa Marie? Nah, I won't buy into that. I can't. My conscience won't buy into saying that Priscilla is the reason Lisa died. No way. The research we did yesterday, and we've still got more to do, we've still got more to learn, to me is pretty clear that this operation that was done a few years before she died ultimately led to her dying. You know, there's a lot of circumstances to it, but ultimately, if she hadn't have had that operation, she'd be alive now. I think that's what we came up with. And with the other thing, with the DNR, well, we don't really know who the person was that signed the DNR, do we? We can't really know. But it didn't make any difference because she was brain dead. This is the thing we've learned. It didn't really matter. She was brain dead. Even the thing where people keep bringing up, is it a pacemaker? You know, there was something to keep her body's heart beating. Well, I've read a bit more this morning, and it was, I'm trying to understand it, but it was, they wanted to keep the body alive even though she was brain dead. So that was it. The machine would have been turned off at some point, yeah? But they wanted to keep the body alive for the family members, so that the family members, this is what I read this morning, yeah? So that the family members could say goodbye to a living body. Does that make sense? So they waited, tell me if I'm wrong. They waited for Riley to arrive. They waited for the family members to turn up. They kept the body alive until the family members turned up. So I'm guessing that'll be Riley and Priscilla. And Danny. I actually don't know who turned up. And at some point, I think once the family members had paid their respects, I think that's when the machine gets turned off. Obviously with the okay of the family members. Now, if I'm wrong, guys, tell me. Because what it is, people confuse that. They think, all right, she was resuscitated, but then Priscilla jumped in and said, no, let's sign the DNR so they don't resuscitate her again if she has another. I know there's a thing here between heart attacks and going into cardiac arrest. Yeah. So I think the difference is the heart stops or you have a heart attack. But ultimately, it doesn't really make any difference, because if you have a heart attack and then your heart stops, it's the same thing, isn't it? You go into cardiac arrest. Did Riley get to the hospital? Well, at some point she must have done. Yeah. Karen, she must have done at some point. Yeah. She eventually got to where her mother was, whether it be in the hospital or if she was moved to a morgue. We don't really know, do we? Not really, but at some point, the bit I read was that, I've read quite a few things now, everyone's been sending me stuff, was that the reason they kept the body alive was so the family members could turn up and pay their respects to a living body. That's just what I read. Guys, if I'm wrong, tell me, because we're all learning as we go, aren't we? But my point is this, and I keep saying it, and this is what upsets people. They don't want to hear it. They want me to call her, they want me to accuse. Unfortunately, a lot of the Priscilla haters, yeah, because that's the truth of it, there's some real hate out there, yeah, want me to say, yes, it was Lisa's fault. Yes, it was Priscilla's fault that she died, yeah? But I won't do that, because it's too extreme, guys. Come on. We'll try it. And I see a lot of these comments, and they're everywhere. On these, come on, guys. We defend Priscilla. We defend Elvis and Lisa. Yeah? Our Defending Elvis Presley Facebook page has got thousands of posts that are exposing Priscilla's wrongdoing. Yeah, thousands of posts. And that's fine. There's so many things that she did wrong. There's so many mistakes she made. She was a very selfish parent. Very cold to Elvis, to Lisa. Lisa made it very clear she didn't feel loved. That her mum put herself first, her own career first. So I get it. So there's loads of comments. We have comments exposing the unfaithfulness of Priscilla. We have comments exposing the unfaithfulness to the different people. The treatment within the divorce, yeah? The 2 divorce settlements. Just the selfish way that Priscilla was with her daughter, putting her career first, her future first. Priscilla put her own future before everything, even her own boyfriends. And we're very upset with Priscilla, because at the hands of Priscilla being responsible for her daughter Lisa, Michael Edwards, allegedly the abuser, allegedly sexual abuse towards Lisa Marie when she was just a child. So we got, Priscilla has to bear responsibility for that, because it was her boyfriend. So we can sit all day here and bring up the disgusting things that happened to Lisa, the selfish treatment of Elvis and Lisa and Riley and Finley and Harper at the hands of Priscilla. We can do it all day long. We can list all the financial wrongdoing of Priscilla to do with Elvis Presley Enterprises and Gracelands, and we could go on and on and on. The biggest thing said about Priscilla is that she's always used the Presley name to make money. It's been said a million times, and that she gave that name up. She shouldn't be using it. I thought she went into the... Sorry, I missed that. Karen, it doesn't really matter. Yeah? The point that I'm trying to say is this. The reason Lisa Marie died had nothing to do with Priscilla. That is my point. Yeah? To blame Priscilla for Lisa's death is the point of this discussion. Yeah? Now, the circumstances of how many cardiac arrests, heart attacks, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure Riley and Lisa was on the plane. Yeah, probably Karen. Hi Karen, by the way, morning. But it doesn't make any difference, does it? Because ultimately, the reason Lisa isn't with us now is because she had an operation that years later caused her to have heart attacks and cardiac arrests. Yeah, 'cause people are trying to pick up on the difference between a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. Ultimately, it doesn't make any difference because ultimately her heart stopped. It doesn't matter. Now, if Priscilla, in real life, was the reason that Lisa lost her life, then I'd get it. But she wasn't. She wasn't. That's the point here. So the reason I've listed all the wrongdoing of Priscilla is because what I'm trying to say to you guys is, yes, I understand all the wrongdoing of Priscilla, but that doesn't mean she killed her daughter. Yeah, it's too extreme. I definitely do not believe any of that. Whenever people say to me, "Oh, she turned off the machine intentionally," she signed the DNR to make sure that Lisa died. Nah, come on guys, seriously, does anyone really believe that? And if you do believe that, please do some more research. And do you really want to live full of hate? Because I don't agree with extreme hate for Priscilla. I agree with us having strong views about the way she treated Elvis and Lisa and Riley, etc. You know, different boyfriends, all the rest of it, and the money grabbing and the using his name to make money for 50 years. And the lie, I know Priscilla has told many, many lies, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes. This whole show is for entertainment purposes only. It's just opinions. I agree with exposing all the wrongdoing. I don't agree with let's call her a killer. Don't agree with it. Don't agree with it. Come on, guys. It's too much. It's too much. Even if you choose to hate her, that's your right as human beings. But to accuse her of something as extreme as that, nah. Come on, they did have good times as well. Even in Lisa's book, she admits. Let me just pull my sleeves up. It's getting hot. Even in Lisa's book, From Here to the Great Unknown, she admits they had happy times. Even Elvis and Priscilla had happy times as well. Come on. That's it, Karen. It was an awful tragedy. And, and I know I keep saying this, guys, but we are going to try and find a way to defend Elvis and Lisa and the bloodline where we don't come across as a bunch of haters. It's really important to me. And I always say this. I know this live stream we're doing now is going to cost me a few more subscribers. I know that pushing this topic will cost me subscribers. I don't care, because I want us to base our lives on truth. On truth. And there is no truth that Priscilla is the reason Lisa died. No way. No way. So, sorry if I've upset anyone, guys, but my own conscience says we have to base our views on truth, not on hate. So anyway, talking about Vernon, because we're not just talking about Priscilla here, we're talking about Vernon. Now, I've seen some pretty nasty comments about Vernon Presley, Elvis's father. Some very cruel comments. You go on to our 24-hour chat, there's quite a lot on there. Again, I just don't agree with it. I don't think we should be hating on Vernon. I don't think Elvis fans should be hating on Vernon, trying to bring up all the different arguments and different disagreements. Let me just sort the dogs out. I'll tell you what, it's beautiful today. Beautiful. All right, guys. Right, let's let the dogs have a little run, shall we? Whoa! Who is? Have a look. So sorry, guys. Just let the dogs off so they can have a run. It's lovely here. We're by the motorway again. Now, I saw quite a horrible little argument on our 24-hour chat, but I haven't just seen it there. I've seen it on all different things. People really attacking Vernon and really accusing him of some quite horrible things to do with Elvis, and even blaming him for the death of Elvis, saying that he should have saved him and all that kind of stuff. Now remember, Elvis, you couldn't tell him what to do. You could not tell Elvis what to do. Elvis was going to do what he was going to do, yeah? No one was going to stop Elvis from anything. He was a very strong-minded person, even when he was unwell. So I think it's very cruel the way people talk about Elvis. I mean, sorry, about Vernon. Vernon was in an impossible situation. I mean, firstly, people forget that when Elvis first rose to fame, yeah, you know, overnight fame, suddenly Vernon was given a massive task to try and look after things to do with the Graceland, the home. I know Vernon did a lot of the bookkeeping and office work. Vernon had a massive job to do looking after Elvis. It was a full-time job. It must have been bloody hard. Vernon's job, we all know they've got the famous office at Graceland's. But you imagine suddenly Vernon, this just normal, hard-working man from Tupelo, yeah? You know, used to pick cotton with his wife, Gladys, and Elvis would help. It's not Facebook, it's the 24-hour chat, yeah? But what I'm trying to say is this. So Vernon really did work hard. Everyone says, oh, he didn't work, he was lazy and all that. It's just rubbish. Vernon worked his ass off trying to keep things in order for Elvis. He was, from what I can see, he really was good at documenting everything. Obviously, we know that everything was saved, all the paperwork, all the way through Elvis's life once he became famous. So, anyone that thinks that Vernon didn't work through the years of Elvis's fame, in my opinion, you're very mistaken. Yeah, I think he probably worked more than ever because he was trying to look after the money, pay all the bills, pay all the staff, keep it all running. Could you imagine the task that Vernon had, trying to keep the show running? And obviously, we had Colonel Tom Parker would look after one side of things, but Vernon did the rest. I agree. Vernon knew that Elvis was going to do what Elvis was going to do. I think it's so unfair to point the finger at Vernon. I really do. It's another thing that I don't like. Now, did they argue? Of course they did, but it's father and son. Father and son always argue. I used to argue with my dad. Every son argues with his dad. To call Vernon lazy and to even blame Vernon for Elvis's death is just ridiculous. You know, this is the problem. The one thing I have learned since I've been running the Elvis channels, you know, defending Elvis, but we've got a few others now. Elvis Presley fan on keto, and Elvis Presley long lost footage, and the Facebook page. Don't forget, our Facebook page is massive now. It's got nearly 8,000 members. We're getting 100 posts a day on the Facebook page. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Our Facebook page is really good, really busy, and loads of brilliant content on there. Yeah, there we are, Martha. Joe Esposito said, you never told Elvis what to do. And I've heard that from loads of people. I think I heard Billy Smith say it. I've heard quite a few people say it. Oh, there's a dog here, hang on. Ella. We have a dog. Let me just put Ella on the lead, otherwise she'll bite the dog. Nancy! Nancy, you sent me about 10 comments. Let me get the dog on the lead. Here we go. Right, let's just get Ella on the... I'm just going to pass this dog. Do you think people don't like Vernon because of the Elvis movie? No, I think this has been going on for decades, Lorna. Nancy, I did read them all. I'm just having a walk because I'm not sure if I can do any lives today. Ta-da. All right. So, Martha, let's have a look. I'm just trying to read your comments. Sorry, guys. No, they've been saying negative stuff about Vernon for decades. Since Elvis died. And I don't really like it because, come on, it's Elvis's dad. Look at what they went through. Yeah, Karen says Billy did say that. Look at what Elvis went through with Gladys. If anyone thinks that Vernon was very selfish, I just don't agree. I don't agree. People will bring up the different relationships, like with Dee Stanley. People will bring up how Elvis felt about Vernon marrying Dee, all that kind of stuff. You know, but that doesn't mean that they hated each other. People will bring up that they lived separately. You know, Vernon generally was in a different house from Elvis, and they'll bring those things up to use it as an excuse to say that they hated each other, but they didn't. You only have to look at the horrific pictures of Vernon and Elvis when Gladys died, those pictures that should never have been taken, showing Elvis and Vernon grieving over Gladys, to see a true bond and love between father and son. Yeah? United in love for Gladys. Yeah? So, now, we were talking about losing subscribers. Now, both these topics are like that. Me saying that I think Vernon had a deep love for his son. Elvis had a deep love for his father. We saw Elvis towards the end of his career. He introduces Vernon to the crowd at the tour, in the concert, doesn't he? It's so clear that he loves his father. Yeah, so clear. And vice versa, that Vernon loves his son. So I think even Elvis. Let me just let the dog back off again. I think even keep those comments short, Nancy. I can't read long comments because I can't read long comments because it only lets me see them for 3 seconds. Short little sentences. I think look, what are people? You got the haters that just want me to say, oh, it's Vernon's fault Elvis died, and Vernon was a lazy, selfish man. Then you got the other haters that want me to say, yeah, Priscilla killed her daughter. I'm not going to do it, guys. I'm not going to be that kind of channel. Nah, I'm not going to do it. Now, I'll bring up the wrongdoing of Priscilla, but I won't come out with hate. Really, like extreme hate, like really over the top hate. Billy did say to Elvis his heart attack was his fault. Hi, Julies. I think there was a lot of love between Vernon and Elvis, but it's, you know, come on. It's the 1950s, 60s, 70s. The way that a father showed his love to his son was done in the way that you do it in the 50s, 60s, 70s, yeah? Very proud, quite stubborn, yeah? Come on, when we're parenting our children, we have some situations where we have to be quite strong-minded, we have to be firm, shout sometimes, argue sometimes. It's all part of being a parent, isn't it? Whether it be Elvis or our own children, it's the same thing. You're trying to teach them right from wrong. You're hoping that they grow up to be good people, good-hearted, hard-working people, that treat everyone with respect. This was set. Yeah, but right, Nancy, I think I missed your comment. Even if they weren't getting along, so what? So what? That's pretty standard stuff between father and son. Doesn't mean they didn't love each other. Vernon told Elvis. Oh, sorry, I missed that. I'm slowing down so I can read your comments. You know, because you'll get, Nancy, you'll get this. You'll get people going, oh, but this happened, and that happened, and this happened. Okay, but it doesn't mean they didn't love each other. That's my point. Two dogs. They're in their own little world. It's lovely here. Two Jack Russells. There is Ella. Ella is nearly 13. Princess is very elderly. She's a bit deaf, a bit blind. Yeah, but even if it did, Nancy, even if it did affect him, they still loved each other. That's my point. My point is, yes, they would have fallen out many times, gone through many bad patches. Yeah, we know Elvis was angry about Dee Stanley. It doesn't mean they didn't love each other. It doesn't mean that in any way that Vernon would have been jealous or envious with his son Elvis. No way. No way. Vernon would have always wanted the best for Elvis. Don't forget, people do this with the Elvis What Happened book. They try and blame Vernon and blah, blah, blah to try and make Vernon look bad. We don't know the ins and outs. We don't know the ins and outs of what was going on with Red West, Sonny West, Dave Hebler. Who knows? Don't forget, some people have mentioned that some of the Memphis Mafia were very heavy-handed and they were facing lawsuits. Of course Vernon was worried about Elvis's spending because Vernon looked after the money, didn't he? Vernon paid the bills. Vernon was the guy in the office trying to keep everything going well. That was his job, a massive job, I would say, like extremely massive job. But he was fully committed to do it. It's lovely here, guys. Beautiful. Come on then. The point I'm trying to say, guys, is what would Elvis want? Would Elvis want us to be against his father? To talk negatively about the relationship he had with his father? Of course not. Yeah, we had fog here in the morning, Karen. Would Elvis want us to say that it was Priscilla's fault what happened to Lisa? Of course not. Now Elvis, I actually do think Elvis would be happy that we defend him. I think he would like that. Because I do think Elvis believes in truth, yeah? He'd want his fans to stick up for him. I really think that. He's very forgiving, we know that. Elvis is forgiving. He would want us to forgive, but he would also want us to clear his name. Does that make sense? He'd be like, yeah, clear my name, show the world that I have I've been portrayed incorrectly. He'd want that, wouldn't he? Yeah? But then he'd say, but then you have to forgive them. Do we agree with that? No matter who we talk about, he'd want us to forgive. Yeah, Karen, he'd want us to speak up for him, to defend his honor, his dignity, his reputation, yeah? But he'd also want us to forgive. I really believe that. He wouldn't want us to be full of hate. He would not want us to be full of hate. He wouldn't like it. And this is why I always say we're not a hate channel. Now, we do expose many things, and we have very many sort of heated problems and arguments. Yeah? I'm very strong-minded in defending Elvis. I will, if I get a bee in my bonnet, I will keep pushing and pushing, and I will really do my best to defend Elvis. Yeah, Nancy says, I don't hate, I say it how I see it. Yeah, I understand that, Nancy, but this is the point. When we talk about the different things that happen between Elvis and Vernon, because of course they're father and son, loads of stuff happened, loads of arguments, but it doesn't mean they didn't love each other. This is my point, Nancy. No matter what you say, no matter how we bring up the past, we bring up history, it doesn't mean they didn't love each other. So when people accuse Vernon and say that Vernon was selfish and didn't care about his son and was lazy and quite a few other things, I will always, well, I disagree with all of that anyway, but I will always say, yeah, but he loved his son. He loved his son. Elvis loved his father. That's my point. I'll tell you what, I could list some arguments now with you that I had with my dad growing up. We had some serious arguments, me and my dad. My dad even worked for me. When I got into business, my dad worked for me, yeah? We had some very serious arguments. You guys all know that. You guys all know that my dad was a violent man, yeah? But I still loved him. I still loved him, yeah? Yeah, we try to get to the truth, that's it. Yeah, no family is perfect. Yeah, Nancy, thank you, yeah. Whatever happened between me and my dad, I still loved him, and I know my dad loved me. Now, did he make mistakes? Yes, of course he did. He made loads. I think if my dad spoke to me now, he'd apologise for many things he did. But he knows that I know that he loved me, and I loved him. You see what I mean, guys? So some of the things that I said about Vernon, I think are very cruel. I don't think Vernon deserves it. I don't. He made a mistake with Dee Stanley, didn't he, guys? He made a mistake. He picked a wrong one. Yeah, he picked a wrong one. Yeah? So, she was, you know, when she was young, she was a beautiful lady. He couldn't have known. He couldn't have known the way she was going to turn on Elvis and say disgusting things. He could never have known that. You know, so don't forget, Vernon wised up and got rid of her, didn't he? Vernon wised up and they split up. So, come on, how many men have made mistakes? And women, how many of us have picked the wrong partner before? Right, let's get the dogs back on their leads. Well, where are you going? He runs away from him. I went to put the lead on him, he ran off. You get what I'm saying, guys? The point of this live we're doing now, I'm going to start heading back now, is not everything we say at defending Elvis Presley is going to be popular. I expect to lose subscribers with certain topics. I think the Vernon topic is one of them. I think the Lisa Marie and the DNR and the switching off of the machine is another one. But it doesn't mean I'm going to avoid it. Yeah, love is about forgiveness. Yeah, Lorna, you picked a few wrong ones, so have I. I could tell you some stories, Lorna. Right, don't forget, I didn't settle down till I was 30, I think 36, 37. Took me a long time. And I still argue with my wife. We argue about all different silly things. We argue about the washing up. And Karen, no, we always lose. Karen, I always watch, I always know the videos that I'm gonna lose a few subscribers. I always know what they are. It doesn't stop me though. It doesn't stop me. I still do them. I can't help it. Like, wait a minute. Woo. Let me just get these. Right, wait a minute. Whoop. Right, Ella. It's so nice, guys. It's so nice. I could just carry on walking for hours, but let's see what happens. Let's see what the plans are with the wife. Let's see what time she wants to go out. Right, I'll tell you what it is. So the wife's trying to ring me. So, well, we're just heading back. I'll be home in 10 minutes. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're talking about losing subscribers. No, there's some topics I know will get me subscribers. I know it. I know if I say certain things, I get subscribers, yeah? But then I know there's other topics, if I say certain things, I'll lose them, yeah? I've always said I don't do my videos to get subscribers or views. I do my videos based on how I feel on that day and what topic comes to mind on that day. And then I go with it. And then what I do is this. If we do an hour live, for example, on a topic, and I don't feel we've thrashed it out properly, I then do a part 2 or a part 3, sometimes even a part 4. Now that topic, the DNR topic with Lisa Marie, that we've done this is probably the 5th part we've done. Some topics will go on and on. Like the other topic that gets a lot of attention is I'm just walking back home, Nancy. We might be going to a seaside today called Breen. We'll see. Let's just see what happens. I want to take the kids out today. Yeah, you don't have to agree with everything I say, guys, because obviously a lot of what I say is opinions, yeah? I'm not right about everything. I'm wrong. Plenty of people disagree with me, and I'm completely fine with that, yeah? In fact, to agree to disagree is probably a daily thing with us here on this channel. It's okay, yeah? It doesn't bother me. I never take it personally. If we have disagreements, I never take it personally, ever. I just move on to the next topic. But, let's have a look. Hang on. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Let me just get the picture back. Sorry. Sorry, guys. My wife phoned. When my wife phones, it means you can't hear me, I don't think. Can you hear me now, guys? So it does look like I might be able to do a live when I get home. So what I was saying, guys, was this. Like the topic of should Priscilla get buried next to Elvis? Yeah, of course. I definitely don't think she should. I think once Priscilla had a divorce from Elvis, was unfaithful to Elvis, she lost the right to be buried next to him. But that topic will always get a lot of interest, and you get a lot of subscribers. The subscribers like the fact that I disagree that she should be buried there. I definitely do not think Priscilla should be buried next to Elvis based on her behavior, yeah? So the other topic, for example, did Priscilla love Elvis? That'll get a lot of subscribers. My views, I agree, Karen. My views on Priscilla, if she loved Elvis, are maybe not. Seriously, I think there's a possibility, but there was a plan to hook Elvis, to trap Elvis. You know, based on the book Child Bride, I think there's a chance that there was a bit of infatuation there. Now, was it proper love? Maybe not. Was it proper love? Did Priscilla truly love Elvis? Probably not. Seriously, guys, I'm not joking. It may have all been a big scam to get him. That's how I feel. And the reason I feel that way is because of her actions. Her actions, once she moved to, once they got engaged. Let me just get past these people. 1 second. Come on. Come on. So you're playing the fifth part. Once they got engaged, I think we get to see a different Priscilla. Hello. I think once they got engaged, you get to see a different Priscilla, yeah? So do I think Priscilla truly loved Elvis? Probably not. Honestly, guys, I keep saying this lately. I'm going to go out on a limb. Do I think Priscilla loved Elvis? No, I don't. I think there's a possibility that it was all about money and the lifestyle and moving to Gracelands and the celebrity life and eventually the Californian lifestyle and ambition and fame, the possibility of being a TV star, a movie star, a model, a businesswoman. I actually think that Priscilla quite quickly realized that she wanted success. She wanted success, she wanted fame and fortune, attention. She wanted to be Elvis Presley. So do I think Priscilla loved Elvis? No, not really. Maybe she was infatuated with him sometimes. She fancied other men, come on guys. Innit, Pat? She fancied other men, let's face it. Priscilla couldn't help the fact that she fancied other men. I actually think that was a problem for Priscilla as well. And some women are like that, aren't they, guys? Because I've met some different women in my life. Some are very loyal, like 100% loyal for their man. And they wouldn't even think about it. Then you get other women, they fancy a number of men. So you get what I'm saying, guys. You get the loyal women that are very faithful. But then you get the ones that aren't. And I think Priscilla falls into the category of aren't. Come on. Keep going, guys. So I think because my view is this. Because Priscilla fancied other men and wanted fame and fortune, she probably didn't love Elvis. She was wrong for Elvis. Elvis didn't see the true Priscilla. Not until after the marriage. I honestly believe this. Elvis didn't know the true Priscilla until after the marriage. Once Lisa Marie was born, that's when Elvis saw, actually maybe even through the pregnancy. Through the pregnancy, I think Elvis saw the real Priscilla. She loved the idea of Elvis. That's Pamela. Hi, Pamela. Now, did Elvis love Priscilla? Now, that's an interesting question. Now, that is an interesting question. I haven't made up my mind on that. Well, Pat, we all romanticize how perfect it would have been with Anne Margaret and Elvis. But don't forget, you've got Anita Wood as well. That was a beautiful relationship. You know, some would even say that Elvis loved Magdalene and Dixie and June Junico. You know, even Linda and Elvis went through a year of happiness, didn't they? So I personally think that Elvis, once he become famous, hi Dan, yeah, Vernon is unfairly judged, and Priscilla has been fake from day one. I think that's spot on. Now, I just think Elvis was just, once he became famous, was not cut out to settle down. I really believe that. I think he did try to be loyal and faithful through the pregnancy. Once Lisa Marie was first born, I think Elvis did try. But Elvis just, once he became famous, nah. He gave in to temptation. He gave in to temptation. He loved women. He loved women. If you listen to Billy Smith, and Danny Smith, Billy Stanley, people like that, the ones that grew up with him, he loved women too much to be with one woman. He did. He loved the ladies. Now, if you met Elvis at 17 years old, I think he would have loved to settle down and have kids, a 17-year-old Elvis. But you meet Elvis at 21 years old, it's a completely different kettle of fish. So you get what I'm saying. Elvis wasn't the marrying kind, I think, because he never met. Well, Julie's, I think that before fame, I think he was the marrying kind. If you look at Elvis's history, before he got famous, he wanted to marry. He wanted a family. I think as soon as he got famous, everything was different. That's how I see Elvis. I also think Elvis, through his 30s, wasn't ready to settle. Now, in his 40s, maybe. I think Elvis in his 40s may have wanted to settle. Before he became famous, he was the marrying kind. Yeah, Nancy, I think that. Nancy, I agree with that. Yeah, it's different. You've got to look at different years. The thing I've learned running this channel is that you have to look at the different years and even months sometimes. You break down the months. So you can go right back to 1953 and start looking at Elvis, even before 52, and look at the way Elvis was with different women. Isn't something that every woman, Elvis never said mean things about that. Yeah, he never said a mean thing about girls. He was always very honourable and forgiving. And he treated them all good, didn't he? He treated them well, yeah? But I just think, if you look at Elvis going way back, 1952, 53, the different girlfriends he had, and then you just sort of, you completely get a feel that Elvis was decent, a good Christian man, and that he was very different before he became famous, yeah? So when fame hits him, and obviously he's overwhelmed, can't believe the fame he's getting. Even he says, I think it's all a dream. I'm scared I'm going to wake up and it all goes away. I do think that the temptation, you know, the attention, he probably couldn't believe the attention that he was getting. He probably loved the attention he was getting as well. Well, in fact, we know he did. Elvis loved being Elvis. Everything changed. Everything changed. Obviously, he did try a little bit once when Priscilla was pregnant. I do think that. But come on, guys. Once he caught Priscilla being unfaithful just after Lisa was born, he just went back to his old ways. She had completely let him down. The bubble had been burst. Elvis has discovered the true Priscilla. He then saw her true colours. Priscilla's true colours, and then Elvis carried on with his life as a single man, really. I think Elvis, once he caught Priscilla being unfaithful with Steve Peck, lived as a single man. I really think that. You know, they had a pretend marriage, a fake marriage, but we know it was all over. It was all over, wasn't it? So there's no way through the 70s Elvis was ready to have a girlfriend, no way. I think when he was 42, when he was with Ginger. I think Elvis was always looking for love. But Julia, I think we all are, aren't we? Aren't all of us? Isn't it our nature to want to find the right partner and find love. Isn't that everyone's nature? Doesn't matter who we are, how famous we are, how rich we are, doesn't matter what our lifestyle is. Don't we all long to be loved? Of course we do. Of course we do, yeah? And which is why many of us end up getting married. Right, so I'm home, guys. I'm going to try and get on and do a live, okay? I think my wife might be going out for an hour, and if I can, I'm going to do a live now or in a minute on defending Elvis Presley. I've definitely got something to talk about to do with Priscilla, okay? So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. We've been on for 65 minutes. We've had a really good walk. Now, anyone watching this later, because a lot of you will watch this later, please don't be upset with me. I'm trying to be as fair as possible. I'm trying to expose Priscilla, but do it in a fair way. I want to be able to talk about Vernon in a fair way, yeah? Guys, take care. I might see you in 5 minutes.